My name is Michael Jimenez, and this is the Acquired Taste on the Acquired Taste Network. We're going till about 1:15 today. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. It's hump day, baby. It is Wednesday, and I'm excited about today's show because Moneybags is going to be on. Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. I feel bad, Joe. Joe Garcia producing today's show. I feel bad because I dubbed him with that nickname, and for some reason it stuck. I'm not saying that it's necessarily true, but it's fun to give him a nickname, and he will be on today in about 15 minutes or so. Again, Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. Before we get going, though, want to give a special shout out to our newest sponsor. That's right. We picked up sponsor number 4 this morning, MCS General Contracting. You can reach out to them at 210-774-9155. Again, that's 210-774-9155. We can show their logo there. More than 30 years of experience in concrete placement. MCS strives to be the best in business, talking about honest pricing, high quality work, looking at foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you're a business, they can also work on your parking lots, your foundations, and other concrete placement services. Now, Chris Leha, who's a big part of this show, okay, he responds to a lot of the things that we do here on this show at the Acquired Taste. He's part of this group, and he's been a big supporter of me, of Joe, and of the show. We thank you so much. Again, it's called MCS General Contracting. Reach out to them, 210-774-9155 for your residential or commercial concrete needs. It's a big deal here in San Antonio. You know, those foundations, those slabs, and it's a big deal for us to pick up our 4th sponsor, Joe, because, Joe, you're producing today's show. We've been talking about the ability to go on to a 2-hour show, and the target date that we had was August 7th. But now that it looks like a 5th and 6th sponsor are jumping on board, we might have to move that up.
Yeah,
this show might need to be 2 hours sooner than August 7th. So we're going to have that conversation between now and the end of the week as to when that's going to happen. But again, thank you so much to MCS General Contracting. By the way, Bear County Social put together their new logo. Looks very good out there.
Yeah.
Very nice. They've been in business since 2010, but they do a very, very good job. So again, thank you so much, Chris Leha. And we have a lot to get into today. Again, Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 will be on in about 15 minutes or so. The ride is over for American Christopher Eubanks at Wimbledon. I know. Just follow me here, right? Because you'll be thinking, you talk sports, pop culture, nostalgia. Are we really talking about tennis this morning? But I got to tell you, this morning, I was amped up watching Wimbledon. There's a guy. This is a great story. His name is Christopher Eubanks. He's from the United States. He's from Georgia, went to Georgia Tech University. He is 27 years old and is a nobody in tennis. And he was 3 plays short of making the semifinals at Wimbledon. 3 plays short of making the finals at Wimbledon. And the thing is that it's a great story because if you don't know and you don't follow tennis, Wimbledon's one of the 4 majors in tennis. And what they do is they cheer for the Brits first because it's in England, right? So Andy Murray is their guy, and they cheer for their local guys until they get knocked out. And then they look around and they adopt a certain player that's typically an underdog, and they root hard for that person. And this year, it was the American Christopher Eubanks. His story, absolutely ridiculous. This is a guy that has never had that big of a career in tennis, never made it past the 2nd round of any of the majors, had never won on grass before. They play on a grass court, and that is so different than playing on hard court compared to clay. They play on grass. And he tried playing on grass earlier this year, lost his first 3 matches. He reached out to female tennis star Kim Clijsters and said, "What is up with grass? This is so stupid." That was the exact text that he wrote to her. She responded back with, "Just keep practicing. Just keep doing what you do. Don't give up." He played a small little tournament before going to Wimbledon. He's ranked in the 70s somewhere.
Yeah.
He was a correspondent doing television work on tennis, okay, because it was not working for him as a player. He played the small little tournament, actually won it. Goes into Wimbledon, knocks out 2 top 12 players, and was up 2-1 today. And I was watching it on ESPN. It was live coming from England. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy is going to make the semifinals. and he lost the 4-set tiebreak. But the thing is that you can tell that the Brits love this particular American player because they love the story of a guy that came out of nowhere and was about to make the semis. But Daniil Medvedev, who was a Grand Slam winner in the past, ended up winning and advanced to the semis. Novak Djokovic, no doubt, is the prohibitive favorite right now. He is the GOAT, more than 20 majors. He won the French earlier this year, won the Australian earlier this year. He is the greatest of all time. Weird thing is, Joe, Novak Djokovic, right? He won the 2 other majors this year. He's won Wimbledon 7 times. Wimbledon ranked him number 2, like in their seeds. A guy that has never won a major before, a Spaniard, they have ranked number 1.
That's odd.
Because he gets a lot of points, because he plays tournaments every single week. So he generates all of these points, whereas Djokovic just plays the majors and the big tournaments, right? So he doesn't have, quote unquote, as many points, but he's got all the Grand Slams. So there you go. You had a little tennis lesson today. A little tennis lesson. But again, congratulations, Christopher Eubanks. What a run at Wimbledon. The crowd loved you. And now he's going to be ranked in the top 45 when it's all said and done. Thank you all to the people who are already following us on YouTube. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, and on YouTube. Chris Gonzalez says, good afternoon to all. Bone says a 2-hour show would be great. Hour number 2. But again, the goal is to make this a 4-hour type of thing. Okay, not with just me. I would do maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours when it's all said and done. But it's to add more content, daily content on this network as time goes on. But I tell you what, when you go from 1 sponsor to 2, 2 sponsors to 3, 3 to 4, today might pick up 5.
Yeah.
I'm in talks also this evening with number 6. It's getting pretty interesting here because that keeps the lights on.
Yeah.
It keeps the lights on. Joe, how you doing today, my man?
I'm doing good, man. It's a good lesson here. You're letting us know about Christopher Eubanks. And as I was showing some of the slides and, from the kid, I mean, he's 27 years old. He's from Georgia Tech. And you were telling me prior to the show that the British people over there have embraced him as the underdog because they love to cheer for an underdog.
That's what they do. Back in the day, they cheered for Michael Chang, who was an American.
Yeah.
But typically they'll cheer for another European type of player who's never really made it. They want to cheer on the underdog story, the Rudy type of player.
Yeah.
And had this guy made it to the semifinals, it would have been one of the biggest sports stories of the year. It would have been one of those things where everybody would be looking at this going, my God, this is almost miracle on ice type of thing. Because it's not so much that a nobody made his way through Wimbledon and on his way to the quarterfinals and potentially the semis. It was the fact that he had never played well or ever won on grass before.
Yeah.
And that is a skill set that a lot of tennis players don't have. But somehow he picked it up literally over the course of a 2 or 3 week period. And now he's going to be ranked in the top 50. Absolutely remarkable. Tim Gonzalez, which is now on YouTube, saying, good afternoon, Mike Jimenez. Good afternoon to you too. AF Blue says, just joined. Did we already talk about where the karaoke is? Need to make sure I warm up the pipes. That's a great thing. Okay, so there's 2 things that I'm doing. I haven't karaoke in a while, but this week I'm going to karaoke twice. Okay, I'm going to karaoke twice. Thursday, because we have one of our new sponsors, which is Serenity Manor, and they have a bar there called the Bar at Serenity Manor. And I posted about them on YouTube, on Twitter yesterday and also on Threads. They have a small bar in this venue. And Serenity Manor is a facility that I visited yesterday. And it's a great building. It was made in 1913. It's a very historic type of building. And in there, they have events like weddings, and they have quinceañeras, and you can have family reunions and all sorts of things like that. You can have business meetings there. But they also have a bar that serves beer, wine, and margaritas. And tomorrow, Thursday, from 6 to 10, they're going to have a karaoke night. It's the first time they've ever had that. And it's going to be fun on Thursdays over there from 6 to 10 because they'll have karaoke night one Thursday, then the following Thursday, they might have trivia night and kind of go back and forth. I'm going to be there tomorrow, probably around 7 o'clock. Okay, I'm going to get 1 song in, maybe 2, have a couple of drinks. They're going to have some specials when it comes to Bud products. So Budweiser and Bud Ice and all of that stuff are going to be on special over there. This is on Old Helotes. Okay, so if you know where Flores Country Store is, it's Caddy Corner. It's across the street, Caddy Corner from that. And again, that is a new sponsor of us. Again, it is called Serenity Manor, and it's the bar over there. It's called the Bar at Serenity Manor. Again, it's beer, wine, and margaritas. Looking forward to being out there. Now, as far as the party for our show over here, by the way, the address over there is 14405 Old Bandera Road. Again, right across the street from Flores Country Store, Caddy Corner. Again, they opened up in January. It's a great facility, man. And it's still under renovation in some parts. But I've seen some of the events that they have over there, some of the photos that they have. This weekend, they're going to have like a farmer's market type of thing where people are going to be selling not only their own products, but they're going to be selling things like knickknacks and crafts and pottery and jams and salsas and all that stuff will be sold there as well. It's a great event. Again, look up Serenity Manor social events venue on social media. Just Google them. You'll find out more about them. They do a very good job. Again, 14405 Old Bandera Road. So I'm going to be there tomorrow doing some karaoke.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll put 1 or 2 songs.
What are you going to sing?
I got to see what the vibe is, man.
You should sing some Britney Spears since we're always talking about her.
I don't do that, man. I'm not going to sing female artists, okay?
I Will Survive.
No, I hate it when karaoke people do that. It has to be in the vibe. Because here's the thing: if you go to a country place, or let's say it's nothing but country music being sung,
yeah,
you gotta contribute to the vibe. It's not Jack FM where you're gonna just like completely do a 180, where it's like 9 people are singing country and you're gonna sing "Enter Sandman" by Metallica. Yeah. No, you have to go with the vibe of the night. So I'm gonna find the vibe of the night and pick a song from there. More than likely, it's gonna be 90s oriented. Now, have you picked a place for Saturday night? Because I did mention that I wanted to karaoke on Saturday night. I think because of a centralized location and because I know the area, I'm a big fan of a place called Who's Who, which is on...
Okay. I've heard that.
It used to be called Who's Cocktails, but now it's called Who's Who. It's a karaoke. It's a dive. Okay, it is a dive. It is on Babcock Road and Callahan Road.
Okay.
And I'm thinking that should be the place. I'm going to reach out to them to see if they're okay having a karaoke party there on Saturday night. They do karaoke there every night anyway.
Yeah.
So again, Thursday night, I'll be at Serenity Manor, the bar over there on Old Helotes Road, Old Bandera Road in Old Helotes, actually. And then I'm going to be Who's Who. I think that's what we'll do it. And I'll make an invitation for everybody on social media, on Twitter and whatnot. That's my nice way of saying I got to ask my wife to make sure I don't have anything going on that night. But I'm pretty sure we'll be fine. But we'll celebrate the fact that we got to 500 subscribers. We'll celebrate the fact that we got to 5 sponsors now. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Again, we're going to have Jeff Garcia coming on in. He's trying to call in. Is he going to call in or is he going to? So he'll call in right now. So Jeff Garcia, stand by. We're going to get you on in a moment. But again, congratulations, Christopher Eubanks at Wimbledon. That's a big deal. That's a very, very big deal. So Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 is going to join us right now. Is he good to go, Joe?
Yeah, Jeff is good to go. But before we do all that, we have to go ahead and
oh my God, Jeff,
do the whole
close your
bit.
eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes, Jeff. Okay. You're not going to want to see this. You're not going to want to see this.
All right, we're ready now. So we're going to go ahead and introduce Jeff Moneybags Garcia
from Locked On Spurs and Ken's. Oh no! It's raining Benjamins, baby. Woo!
You see, it's this kind of activity that I don't approve of because it's not true. I'm not Moneybag.
Oh, today you are.
If anything, I got big timed again by Jimenez.
How did you get big timed?
Call in around 12:10. I called it at 12:10. Well, no answer.
I want you to be ready to go 5 minutes before.
That was my fault. That was my fault.
5 minutes before, but my goodness, I love the animation. I love the graphic that we have there.
I don't like it
of Jeff Garcia, and I'm not saying that it's right or it's true, but it's a great nickname, and people have stopped talking about the fact that I left my dogs on the outside when it was pouring rain that one time a few months ago. Now,
you're all Austin Powers every day.
Yeah,
with the women. Yeah.
That's a great graphic, by the way. I mean, it shows the stacks of cash up on
it's not a great graphic. I hate it.
Table.
Take it down.
That is him.
He's
tipping.
got a little top hat. You know.
Take it down.
That is him tipping at bar 1919.
Oh my God! Like We talked about this on Locked On Spurs. Because my guest today was giving me the business about the whole money thing, and then he goes, "Hey, so I heard about the steak that got delivered to you." I go, "Yes, it's a steak," but isn't this a common thing? And then he dived deeper. He goes, "Oh, let me guess. The person when they delivered it, the Uber Eats, the restaurant brought it with the silver plate." And at that point, I said, "I better hurry this up because it's true. They brought it in the silver plate." But what's wrong with the business taking an extra step to make their customer happy? That's all it is, right?
I know I'm saying they did a good job, and the presentation and the quality was amazing. And I was talking to James Pledger from San Antonio Sports Star about this yesterday, because he and I were talking about lots of things over the phone. He's one of my best friends, just like you are. And the three of us get together all the time. The thing about it is that he was like, "Tell me about that steak that Jeff had." And I said, "Well, it wasn't Outback. It wasn't Applebee's. It wasn't a Chili's steak.
It wasn't a Sizzler."
Yeah, you look at it, and it is. Forgive me for using this word, Jeff Garcia. It was moist. Okay.
Now I can't eat a steak now after you use that word.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe to Jeff Garcia on Locked On Spurs, his podcast. I consume it on Spotify on a daily basis, wherever you get your podcasts. Again, you can follow him at Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter. Also on Threads at Jeff G Kens 5SA. Thing about it is this. I'm taking a look at one of your articles from today on Kens5.com. Greg Popovich, first and foremost, got that 5-year extension over the weekend. And it was almost like an afterthought, because everyone was so excited about Wemby's, first time on the floor on Friday, then bouncing back and having a big day on Sunday. What were your thoughts when Greg Popovich got that 5-year extension? And do you actually believe that he's going to complete the 5 years? Or do you think, because I'm thinking, now that I think about it a little bit, that this might be a retirement gift for him?
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. My first reaction was like, this was a thank you for your service. And if you're gonna go out, Pop, anytime soon, let's make you the highest paid coach right now.
Yeah, it's like severance pay.
Severance pay. Yeah, I mean, look, they did it for Timmy, they did it for Manu. Why wouldn't they do it for Pop? So, but all in all, I mean, there's pros and cons to it. I mean, obviously the cons is, like you got to pull the Band-Aid off eventually. Like there's got to be a successor to Pop soon. So there's that. I feel like they're just delaying the inevitable. Also, the cons though is that, the pros though is, there's stability for these young kids. There's now a 1-2 punch as far as attracting free agents, Wemby and Pop, to make a decision to come to San Antonio if that is there on the table. And the last thing this very young squad needs is to have a big shakeup at that position on the team, the coaching spot. Let's not forget too, he's the last remaining person from the glory days. That's it. After him, it's over. It's done. Put a nail in the coffin. The dynasty 8 days and reminiscing about it should be over. So as long as he provides that championship coaching know-how, stability, teaching these kids, I'm fine with it. But I agree with you, Jimenez. I don't think he'll finish out all 5 years. He'll be what, like 79?
He'll be 79 years old when that happened.
Yeah.
And you go back in time. I mean, it was 1996, dude. I was a teenager when he was brought on as head coach of the San Antonio Spurs. It's been so long. But the stability of the first couple of years, I honestly think he's going to be around for 2 years. And I think that years 3, 4, and 5 are going to be severance packages where it's like, hey, thank you for your service. We'll still pay you your money. Be a consultant on this team. But I like him being there for the first year, because the first couple of years, because it shows how to become a professional at this. As much as I hated having Pop during the rebuild, the fact that he has a superstar player there, he knows how to coach those guys.
For sure.
It's knowing how to put together a team without that big main piece. So now I'm back on Team Pop. In Pop we trust when it comes to all this. But one thing that I'll say, though, about Pop is that I never thought I would ever wear any apparel that has Pop's face on it. But you did an article today on Kens5.com about a shoe that features Greg Popovich's mug, his face. It's a one-of-a-kind deal. What's going on with that?
So basically, local artist in San Antonio. He goes by JC Art. That's his like artist name. He put together a pair of sneakers honoring Popovich heading into the Basketball Hall of Fame. On the sneaker itself, there's the skyline of San Antonio. There's GOAT, GOAT printed on there. His class.
I like that.
His class, so class of 2023. Pop's face, as you mentioned. The logo of the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Fiesta colors. Basically, it's just a big old splash of art on a pair of sneakers to give Pop a salute for that big milestone ahead for him. Just a few weeks from now. It's in August. It's right around the corner. Yeah, he's going to get into that Hall of Fame.
I'm glad that you brought that up because I completely forgot about that. He's going to be inducted into the Naismith Memorial in August.
Yeah, it's right
on top of all of this. Dude, invite Wemby to that, right? The Spurs should do that so they can show the pomp and circumstance of having Manu there with his jacket, and you have David Robinson and all that. That is so interesting. That is fascinating. Yeah, they should invite Wemby for that. But we're showing the shoes right now on our podcast right now. And you can follow this on Twitter, by the way. Like you said, it says his name. It says GOAT. Yeah. It has his face looking off to his left, our right. And then you see these shoes also having the 5 titles, the championship trophies, along with the Spurs emblem with the logo and the skyline, the Fiesta colors on top. I know this is a one-of-a-kind type of thing, but they won't mass produce these?
No. It looks like it's a one-of-a-kind thing, that it's just a one shot and that's it. So, but hey, what a summer for Pop, huh?
Yeah.
You win the draft lottery, you get Wemby, you get that big bump in pay, 5-year deal. You're going to get paid no matter what. You got a bunch of kids that have gotten seasoned, took their lumps, and I mean lumps last season. So hopefully they don't want to repeat that. And you mix in Wemby. You also mix in Malachi Branham, that's looking pretty good in the summer league right now.
My son.
So he's going to be the head coach of a very, very young team that seems to be on the verge of really becoming something with some seasoning.
One of our longtime listeners, Rudolph Renee, reached out to me on DM yesterday. I don't know if it was DM or if he just tagged me on something on Twitter, but he was like, your son did well yesterday. The thing about it is that shooters shoot, and Malachi Branham can. The Spurs won their summer league game yesterday in Las Vegas, 96-85. They beat the Wizards team. No Victor Wembanyama. He's been shut down, though he was in the stands. He was watching the game, but physically he's been shut down. And he says that after the summer league, he wants to disappear for a month and, go have fun, go have vacation. But what I've enjoyed about the summer league, both in Sacramento and in Las Vegas, is you're seeing certain players prove that they do not belong in the G League. You're having some players prove that they belong on that 12 to 15 man roster. Julian Champagnie.
Yeah.
Okay. Off day yesterday, 18 points, but he was 4 of 13. But prior to that, the last 3 or 4 games had been on fire. Malachi Branham last night, 29 points, knocking down 5 of 6 from 3. What do I like? I like shooters, and shooters can shoot. And that's why when I saw Malachi Branham taken at number 20 out of Ohio State, I was like, that guy can shoot. Look at his odds. Look at his percentages. That translates to the pros. And that's the thing about it. We try to make Trey Jones a shooter. We try to make Jeremy Sohan a 3-point shooter. And if that's not who they were in college, if that's not who they were in high school, to me, it's like, why would we expect them to do that at the highest level of basketball in the world?
Yeah. And the Spurs definitely, you highlighted the big name is Champagnie. I think he secured himself a spot on the rotation. There's no doubt about that.
Agreed.
Malachi, I hope he's not spending time in Austin. But as much as there's good, there's also some kind of head scratching, wondering, is that Blake Wesley? He shows that perhaps he might need some more time in the G League.
Yeah, Blake Wesley seems like the game hasn't slowed down for him yet, that he's a little bit out of control. Sidi Sissoko is somebody, the Spurs second round draft pick from this year. Defensively plays like an NBA player, but offensively does not. I know he had that nice behind the back assist yesterday that looked really good. But I mean, he's having difficulty finding his shot. He's trying to drive in too hard, and he's missing layups. Sissoko needs to be marinated a little bit in Austin. He does.
And you know what? If you look at the stats, Jimenez, there's one thing that's kind of getting overlooked right now. For his position, he looks like he will become a pretty good rebounder.
Yeah,
I believe in Sacramento he averaged about 3.5 per game in 2 games, and then in Las Vegas right now it's about 4.5. Where the point is he's pretty good at that. So I like that aspect of his game that he's going to bring to San Antonio.
Yeah, 7 rebounds last night, including 2 on the offensive side of the board.
Sure.
What I'm saying is that aside from shooting, he's passing the ball well, has some pretty good court vision. Defensively, he's already there defensively. Like defensively, his wingspan is so wide. City Sissoko is doing pretty good out there. Dominic Barlow, can he be a junior DeMar DeRozan? He is a mid-range god out there. 9 out of 15 yesterday. He has a very nice little touch. He's somebody that I don't expect to have a lot of minutes on the varsity squad playing for the San Antonio Spurs. And I think he's too good for the Austin Spurs, but not good enough to crack a 10-man rotation with the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah. And let's not forget, too, just at the position, that Biggs position, there's already, Wemby, obviously, Zach Collins, Charles Bassey. So I don't know if there'll be enough time there. Mamu, forget about him. It looks like perhaps he's just could be a victim of minutes and playing time. Yeah, but would not be surprised if he does the whole up and down I-35 all season.
No, I wouldn't be surprised either. But I think what we're looking at there is the idea that he's good insurance in case there is an injury to a Mamu or there's an injury to a Zach Collins or somebody like that, where you can say, hey, we at least know that we have somebody here who can knock down some shots. He's not going to be like Zach Collins, who's going to be spreading the floor a little bit with 3-point accuracy. I know Zach Collins shoots 36% from 3. But if you can have somebody who can have a nice little sweet jumper on the right-hand side, a nice little jumper from 8 to 12 feet out, there's value in that. And I like seeing a lot of these players kind of come into their own. And maybe this is me faulting Greg Popovich and the coaching staff that's there. Maybe these players would have gotten better on their own, but the fact that they have Wemby there when the season starts is going to be a big, big deal. I'm so excited about our bets, Jeff Garcia.
Yeah. I'm excited about the team next season. There's something brewing there.
Yeah.
You throw in a Wemby, obviously that changes everything. But we're forgetting Sohan. I'm expecting him to have a big leap next year.
I think the leap is going to be – now, don't get me wrong. I think Sohan will have a leap, a mini leap. I think the big leap this next year is going to be Vassell. I think Vassell is going to be the player that steps out. So there's 2 players I'm looking at, Devin Vassell, and I'm looking at Zach Collins. I think those 2 can solidify themselves as being higher tier players than what we originally considered them to be,
Yeah.
Keldon Johnson is that one that I'm questioning right now because I think he can maintain and take it to a higher level. But if you were to tell me, hey, Michael, who's the one that you're most worried about that's a big minute player on this team, I'm most worried about Keldon.
I'm right there with you. We've had him for 5 years in San Antonio now, and he seems to be, I don't know. I mean, is he progressing in his game? Sure. Maybe it's just incremental. He hasn't taken like that huge step. His 3-point shot. Remember, it was a couple years ago that he was leading the league at one point in 3-point accuracy.
Yeah, he was.
And then it just kind of fell off the map. He couldn't knock one down at all last season. Who knows? Maybe that was intentional, because the team was trying to lose to raise their draft status and odds, I should say. Excuse me. But, yeah, I think Keldon, he has to be the one of the biggest hot seat next year. Show us something because people always feel that he's the most tradable asset the Spurs have if they want to continue to amass draft capital or bring in a solid young veteran, established veteran that's proven already in the NBA. I mean, what better way to flip than using him? And
hey, Jeff,
that's pretty good. Yeah, go ahead.
We have a fan here of the graphic that I made you. Echo, watching us from YouTube, says you look like the Monopoly guy.
I don't wear a monocle.
I was about to put the monocle, but I said that's a bit much. Jeff wouldn't wear the monocle.
Yeah, Chris also.
Yeah.
We have a guy named Chris who's reached out to us, Chris Gonzalez, asking, "Did you just come back from the World Series of Poker?" That's a great line right there.
That's more for you, Jimenez. That's all you right there. You're. And speaking of money bags, you go to the poker table and blow money left or right. I wouldn't dare do that. That's too risky for me.
It's only a poker problem, Jeff, if you're losing. It's only a gambling problem if you're losing. I call it going to work. I told my wife, I sat down with 270 at SA Card House, and I came out with 620. And I told my wife, I went to work last night. I went to work. That's what I did. And I gave her the money because I went to work, baby. That's what I do. But we were talking about Keldon Johnson. I think you're 100% correct when it comes to being on the hot seat, because this is a guy that shot 39.8% from three 2 seasons ago. Last season dropped from 39.8 to 32.9. 39.8 is relatively elite. 32.9 is kind of, you kind of need to get it above 35% if you're at his position. And I know it doesn't sound like much. It's like, oh, well, that's just 2%. No, there is a big difference between the two. His effective shooting percentage also fell from 54%, which is respectable, to 51, which is kind of mediocre. But
can I just clear up something really fast?
Yeah,
I'm looking at the comments here on the chat right now. Christopher Leja, it was not a $200 steak. All right, let's get that out of the way. It was not a $200 steak whatsoever.
Okay,
so I'm catching strays in the chat right now. I'm like, hey. I'm like, what's going on here?
Instead of focusing on the conversation, you're focusing on money.
It was Joe. It was Joe when he brought up the whole comment section, and I said, oh yeah, what's going on over there? And I dived in. I said, wait a minute. Here, look at this. Leja, I bet he can afford all custom-made shoes. Stop it.
I like Robert Quintero. He went and put, now that Moneybags is here, does that mean our free trial's about to end?
Yes. No. Jeff Garcia, the Elon Musk of our show over here. The Jeff Bezos of our show.
You know what he meant is, I knew the moment I put that food in front of me when we were on Zoom, I said, oh no. And mentally in my head, I didn't want to make it obvious, but I was really thinking, oh no.
Dude, I told people that it was like you were being a music conductor because you held your fork and knife in a certain way, like you were conducting an orchestra. And I was like, that is a moist steak. That is a juicy steak. That was not a dry steak from the Outback, man. This was a
made to order custom.
He didn't even have to chew it, dude. It was so covered in butter. I didn't have to
chew it at all. Yeah,
it was so covered in butter at all. Now, I will say this though, there was no lobster. There was no lobster. It doesn't travel well.
Listen, I do like lobster, but I think everybody loves. See, I cannot. See, that's one of my fears. When I do go back home, that if I just happen to walk out of like a Southtown restaurant, oh, there he is! Look, he's going to Southtown. I'm like, I can't enjoy myself now.
He's gonna put the napkin in his nice shirt, So
what's wrong with that? If you don't want to get dirty, what if I don't want to get dirty when I'm going out with Jimenez and
he does that?
I don't want to get my shirt dirty.
He does that exaggerated thing with the napkin where he unfurls it, then puts it in. That's what he does right there, man.
With his nice pressed jeans, because he's going out.
And I love you some Jeff Garcia, but you know what? It's okay, baby. We're indoor dogs. That's what we are. We're indoor dogs.
I like this name that they gave him. Alonso Alvarado. He puts, Jeff, no me tocas Garcia.
First of all, that's not true. That's not true. I grew up on the south side of San Antonio. I know what it is to have nothing. And I just happened to get a steak. What's the problem
Look
with
at
that?
Matt Lerma. Chewing is for the poor.
I still don't understand what is the problem with me getting a steak. Everybody gets a steak from now and then. It just happened to be here from the Jimenez where he caught me.
They said the dude is a Stone Oak Mexican.
I grew up on the south side. On the south side, Hardingale district.
Oh, they said the steak was delivered on a silver platter.
Chris Leja says.
Well, it was because that's the restaurant with the extra mile. That's all. What's wrong with that? They want me to have that repeat business.
Chris Leja, our new sponsor, asked the question: caviar?
Did you get that with the caviar?
No. But although I have had caviar, it is really good.
That is gross. That is absolutely disgusting.
I like it. Put it on a cracker. It's good.
The last thing I had that was pretty gross because caviar is what is eggs, right?
Fish eggs, yeah, fish eggs, yeah. Or salmon.
I
salmon,
had
yeah.
my wife and I go to New Orleans about once a year, sometimes twice a year, just to go eat. You know, we fly in, we get a hotel, and we just go to restaurants for 2 or 3 days, and we come home. We don't go to listen to music, although we will from time to time, but we don't go sightseeing. We just go because the food in New Orleans is amazing.
Mhm.
I had turtle soup last time I was there.
Ooh.
I've had alligator, and
alligator's good.
I'm not somebody who eats a lot of seafood, but I did it just simply because I was there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad.
It's pretty good. It's really good. Yeah.
And maybe that makes me money bags. Maybe I'm guilt by association. You know what?
Maybe
I need a monocle too.
No, because see, people would paint you that when they don't realize that alligator is common in Louisiana and it's cheap. Like, it's not expensive. It's just very common.
I
See?
like AF Blues 82 comment. He puts money bags with the I can't go anywhere anymore. I'm kind of a big deal.
No, because here's my luck, AF Blue. I'm gonna walk out of a restaurant. I'm gonna happen to run into Jimenez with his camera out, taking pictures, and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna cook you now." That's what I'm afraid of.
Jimenez,
Oh my
you're
God,
gonna have your own
stuck,
paparazzi.
dude. It's stuck. It's stuck because I have the thickest skin on social media ever. Okay, like I think everything that everyone says about me is hysterical, and I think that people realize that they don't get under my skin.
Mhm.
So because of that, people were having fun with it, and they're like, "Man, we respect Jimenez because he doesn't get mad." But the spotlight, the roasting, had not happened to you yet, and I find it fitting that I'm the one who made that happen. Okay, I find it fitting, and it'll go away. Money bags will eventually die out, and we'll jump off. They're like memes. They're like memes that are or TikToks that are popular for 1 month, and then they'll go away. So I was ridiculed for the dogs, and then your money bags, and there'll be something else that happens down the road. You know what we need to do? We need to do it for pleasure. We need to make it where pleasure is getting roasted.
I want to either my target is going to be Leja, and I think I'm going to go after Chris Leja next.
Chris Leja, you can't go after him because, again, MCS General Contracting is our new sponsor. 210-774-9155 for your residential and your commercial concrete needs. Again, we're talking about foundations, driveways, patio decks, concrete patio decks, that is, parking lots for residential businesses rather, and other concrete placement services. Jeff, you know what? We're picking up number 5 and number 6 this week when it comes to advertisers. And the fact of the matter is that might mean instead of expanding to 2 hours beginning August 7th, we might have to move that up. So Joe and I are going to have that conversation. Maybe a big announcement coming up pretty soon.
And speaking of your network and people on there, Brandon Medina is going to be on Locked On Spurs tomorrow. Your soon-to-be new partner or employee, whatever you're going to call it out there.
Over the Fantasy Gods coming back August 6th will help you when it comes to this is going to be a show that goes on Sundays from 11 to 12 leading up to week 1 of the NFL all the way to week 17. So we'll help you set your lineups. You can call in. You can ask us questions about who you should start, who you should bench, who you should pick up off the waiver wire. And then why are we doing a show in August is because people need help when it comes to the draft, snake draft, auction draft.
Yeah.
Brandon Medina does a fantastic job. Again, we're bringing back the Fantasy Gods, and we'll also be talking about the Deadpools, and we'll talk about the spreads and the parlays and all that stuff. We have a lot to get into. That begins August 6th. That's going to be a good time. Brandon Medina is going to be the head of that show, the head of the snake when it comes to that show. He does an amazing job when it comes to it. Before I let you go, there was a new rule change or rule addition when it comes to the NBA. The NBA has officially approved 2 things. One is allowing head coaches to get a second challenge if the first one they got was correct.
I saw that, yep.
And then the second one was to assess a technical foul for flopping. What are your thoughts?
I like that first one about the replay timeout thing. I think that's cool. The flopping thing, though, is just so subjective. Just so subjective. Like, what if somebody does hit somebody? But from a certain angle, a ref says, "Oh, that's flopping." Then what? Then they got to burn a replay.
Yeah.
So I just think that it's just still subjective. I know can be frustrating, but look, you either live with it or you die with it as a fan. You love it when Manu was doing it. You loved it when
Oh,
Bruce was doing it.
no. We're not going
You
to.
loved it when Brazil was doing it.
Moneybags, we're not going to deal with that slander today, but man, not today.
But you don't like it when Draymond Green does it, or
Okay.
LeBron James does it.
Okay, so let's talk about this. First of all, I think the whole thing about the second challenge makes a lot of sense. It happens in the NFL already.
Yeah,
because
I think that's cool.
If you have a challenge, if you're successful in the NFL, you get a second challenge. The NBA is doing what the NFL did. Makes perfect sense to me. It doesn't really slow down the game too much. I'm perfectly fine with that. When it comes to flopping, you're right. It is very subjective, and what might be a flop to one officiating crew might not be a flop to a different officiating crew. But the question for me is, would you rather get it right 70% of the time or not at all?
Yeah.
Okay, because when you look at it, if you don't do something, then flopping is just going to be rampant upon all over the league, from Patrick Beverly to LeBron James to James Harden. And yeah, we had our floppers back in the day. Monty would try to sell it from time to time, and okay, that's fine. But if you crack down on it and at least get rid of some of it, I think that's fine. It's not going to be perfect though, because it's like pass interference in the NFL. That's also kind of subjective too. But that doesn't mean that you don't do pass interference. It just means that you try to call it as even as possible, even if it's not 100% fair.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting how that is implemented. But even then, Jimenez, nothing is perfect, because how many times have we seen replays go absolutely wrong, even though the replay shows something different? So, yeah, it's just gonna, you just gotta one of these. You gotta just roll with it. Yeah. But I'm interested too in the in-game tournament, and a lot of people think that this is new for the NBA. Well, it is for the I guess the men's division, but in the NBA's esports division and the NBA's G League division, they've been doing this already. So this is not too new for the NBA as a whole to dive into. As a matter of fact, the NBA 2K League started doing this, and they have 3 in-season tournaments.
Well, that reminds me a little bit of what happens in the minor leagues in baseball. The younger players are able to adapt to things like pitch clocks and things like that because they were used to it in the minor leagues. It's the older players that have a difficulty with it. And you're going to see players like Draymond Green who are going to get upset about certain rules. You're going to see certain players like Patrick Beverly who are going to get upset. The usual suspects when it comes to it. Because if you say flopping and 5 or 6 people come to mind, that means there's a problem. You know what I'm saying? That means that there's a problem. But Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs, don't forget to subscribe to him. His podcast is daily when it comes to your Spurs content. I listen on Spotify all the time.
Not right now.
Brandon Medina is a part of that show as well.
Yeah, he's coming out tomorrow. No, tomorrow. We're recording tonight. By the way, he already told me that he wants to cook Blake Wesley.
Man. Blake Wesley's young, dude. For all intents and purposes, for me, I consider Blake Wesley to be a rookie. I really do, because he missed most of last season.
Yeah.
So he needs some time to marinate in Austin over there. Again, also follow Jeff Garcia on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. He's also on Threads, like the cool kids are, at Jeff G Kens 5 SA. Before we let you go, some of the comments that came in about you. About you. Let's look at this chat here.
I like that one that they had put on here, how they spelled his name, Money Bags.
Oh, they want you. Oh, okay. Would it be better if we change it to Money Bags with a Z?
I like that. Take it away completely. I think that's a better idea.
And Memo also says, Jeff, don't stop Jeffing. I like that. I like that. Tim asking if Jeff and Mike are going to take Wemby to the South Side for tacos. Yes.
I'll do that. That's fine. Yeah, I know some places on Nogalitos.
Look at Moneybags can put it all to rest if he comes to karaoke with the common folk on Saturday.
Well, he's out of town. He's out of town.
I would if I was in town, yes.
He's out of town. But again, Jeff Garcia is a big friend of the show. Thank you for being with us today. Again, follow his daily content. He has an article today about those brand new shoes that are one of a kind for Greg Popovich.
But before you let me go, just real quick.
Yeah.
David Robinson, Manu Ginobili, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker are all going to present Popovich at the Hall of Fame induction. Tony Tony Parker will be presented by Manu Ginobili and Tim Duncan, not Popovich, but there's that. And Becky Hammond, she'll be presented by Cheryl Swoops and Teresa Weatherspoon.
Very
At
cool.
the Hall of Fame induction. And former Spur Pau Gasol, he will be presented by Tony Kukoc. So
it is a silver and black type
It
of
is.
day in August, right? At the Naismith Memorial
August.
in Springfield, Massachusetts.
think about August 12th, I think. Yeah, August 12th is when they'll be inducted.
Springfield, Massachusetts. I will tell you this much. I've been there before. I've spent some
Me
time
too.
there. The bars close early. They close like at 11 p.m. And I think the most happening place is Applebee's. So if you're going to go out there, just know, go party at Foxwoods or whatever that casino is that's about an hour and a half away. The one in Connecticut. Oh, that's Mohegan Sun.
Yeah, well, he gets done. Yeah,
Go hang out over there because Springfield is not the place to be.
not at all. I was there last year for Manu's induction, and that I think the Hall of Fame is their biggest attraction.
It
Like,
is.
That's it. Yeah, it is. And by the way, for those of you who have never been to there, the Hall of Fame memorial, place is connected to a strip mall. Not many people know that. It's connected to a strip mall.
I've
You
driven
can
by
exit out. You can exit out of the Hall of Fame and go to a Subway or go to Fantastic Sam's to get your hair cut. And then if you want to do some money orders, it's connected in a plaza.
I've driven by there. It is not the most exciting place, but I want to go inside. I've just literally driven by.
Yeah.
Driven by. But that is Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs, Ken's 5. Thanks for being with us today, my man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
thanks,
Talk to y'all later.
Mhm.
Yep.
A more sports conversation. HBO has chosen its team for this summer's Hard Knocks, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. It's going to be the New York Jets, baby. Woo! We're talking about Aaron Rodgers, the MILF hunter, Zach Wilson himself. Dude, this is the team that I wanted. And the thing about Hard Knocks is that in order to qualify to be on Hard Knocks, you need to have a criteria. One is you get exempted if you made the playoffs the year before or the year before that, right? So if you've made the playoffs the past 2 years, you don't have to be on Hard Knocks. If you have a first-year head coach, you don't have to be on Hard Knocks. Certain things that go on when it comes to things like that, and if you've been on Hard Knocks for the once in the past 10 years, you don't have to be on. So when you look at that criteria, you had 4 teams there that were in play. The New York Jets, the Washington Commanders, the New Orleans Saints, and the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears from the get-go said, we don't want you here. Don't want you here. You knew the NFL was not going to choose the Commanders because of all the controversy and the lawsuits involving Daniel Snyder, who's now getting rid of that team. So that was a no-go. So you either going to have the Saints or the Jets, right? The Saints' biggest star, Alvin Kamara, was facing legal challenges himself, charges himself. And I didn't think that they would go to the Saints. So I knew it was going to be the Jets. And when Adam Schefter reported this morning that it was going to be the Jets, I got super excited because I cannot wait to see what happens with Aaron Rodgers. A flip-flop, yes. Because if you followed me for the past 2 years, you know the fact that I had gotten tired of Aaron Rodgers when he was with Green Bay. But much like I had gotten tired with Tom Brady when he was with the Patriots, the second that Tom Brady went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I got excited about it again. I wanted to see, could he win with a different team? And now when it looks like Aaron Rodgers has passed his prime and is not going to be somebody that you're going to cheer for because of the Pat McAfee show and, all the weird news about what he does. And he goes into hiding in a dark room for days at a time. And he comes out like a groundhog to see if he's rejuvenated enough to come back and all that nonsense. And the breakups with his girlfriends, Olivia Munn, and all of that stuff back in the day. And the fact that he doesn't get along with his parents. And you can tell that he's a miserable SOB. But same time, him going to New York and seeing all the moves that the New York Jets did to make him happy makes me happy because it gives us a storyline that we can follow all year long. And it's a storyline where if he does well, it's great. If he does poorly, even better. I mean, look at this lineup. Breece Hall, who before his injury was a stud running back. You've got at wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard, McCole Hardman, Randall Cobb, Corey Davis, Tyler Conklin at tight end. They've got a good defense. They got Sauce Gardner, on defense over there. This is going to be a pretty decent team, and they're going to be battling against Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills, and Tua, the Miami Dolphins, and Mac Jones and all them for the Patriots, the hoodie. That's going to be the most exciting division for me to watch. AFC football is going to be off the chain this year, and I'm super excited about it. And Aaron Rodgers going to the AFC makes it easier for the Dallas Cowboys to make their way through the NFC. It's one less elite quarterback. It's a win-win situation for a lot of football fans here in San Antonio. I cannot wait. I like here. Who's saying discount double check right here? Chris Gonzalez, discount double check. That's right, baby. He does that discount double check when he runs one in or tosses a touchdown pass. Absolutely cannot wait for Hard Knocks. I'm a big sucker for that show. I mean, I fall in love with second string tight ends, hoping that they make the team. How do I know who Cajuice is? Remember the Cleveland Browns a few years ago?
Yeah.
There was a guy named Cajuice, and whether or not the guy was going to make it into the NFL, and he didn't. But for about a 5-week period there, man, I was like, dude, Cajuice is loose.
The Cajuice is loose.
Whatever happened to that guy? Whatever happened to that guy?
Probably on the practice squad somewhere.
Or he's in the Arena Football League somewhere. But again, according to Adam Schefter of ESPN, the New York Jets will be this summer's Hard Knocks team, and I cannot wait. Hey, big special thanks to our sponsor from J-Par Real Estate, talking about Cynthia J. Sanchez. She's been in business for 16 years. She's an industry leader when it comes to real estate, and to be honest with you, and I am being honest with you here, she is my personal real estate agent. She found me my last home 6 years ago, and I remember her telling me, you're walking into equity. This house is worth more than what they're asking for. And she was right, because that house I bought for $306 is now worth $486. So maybe I'm money bags. $486 is what my house is valued at right now. And I've got over $200,000 in equity. Why? Because Cynthia J. Sanchez found the home for me that she knew was going to appreciate. She knew the neighborhood was going to appreciate. And she knew that I was walking into equity. And that is fact. Again, she's been around for 16 years. She works with the military community a lot of faith-based people as well. She works with a lot of different people. She was also an adjuster when it comes to insurance back in the day. So whenever she looks at pre-owned homes, she looks at it from an adjuster's point of view and can tell you if things are going to fall apart. She looks at it from a different angle. I mean, this is a unique package when it comes to a realtor. Her number's on the screen, 210-273-0748. So if you're looking for a primary residence, if you're looking for an investment property, an Airbnb, she has all of that too in her personal portfolio. She can help you find a good Airbnb type of place, a good investment property. I have an investment property myself. I mean, it's great things to have. Real estate, that's how you make money. Cynthia J. Sanchez, 210-273-0748. You can also call her or reach out to her if you want to have an analysis done on your home. How much would it really go for in your neighborhood? And then also, she's offering a $600 value, which is a 1-year warranty if a major appliance breaks down, whether it be your AC, your dishwasher unit, something like that breaks, it is covered because Cynthia J. Sanchez will actually provide that 1-year warranty for you. Her number on the screen, 210-273-0748. She is the realtor for the Acquired Taste Network. We talk sports, we talk pop culture, we talk nostalgia. And we also talk about the ongoing saga involving Kevin Costner.
Oh.
Just when it looked like it was going to go his way. Oh my goodness. The story just gets juicier by the day. It's as juicy as a steak that Jeff Garcia orders from Uber Eats. It is that moist. Okay. Interesting story. So basically what ended up happening was Kevin Costner, his wife of like 18, 19 years filed for divorce. And he had a prenup that was done basically 2 decades ago that said that if she wanted out, that she would have to leave within 30 days and she wouldn't get any money except for like a little bit of money for a home. And he offered her $1 million to go find a home, and $1 million in Hollywood, in LA, in Malibu gets you nothing. And by the way, they have 3 teenage kids who she's going to have custody of. Okay. So this ongoing thing. So she demanded $250,000 per month in child support. She demanded, $10-12 million for a home. She demanded all of this stuff. And the original judge that looked at this sided with Kevin Costner and said, dude, no, the prenup is valid. You have to pay his attorney fees, basically leaving her destitute. Well, somehow, some way, it went to a different person who has sided with Kevin Costner's wife now. Not fully, but just enough, because that particular judge is saying and saying that this is what's going to be settled on. Instead of $250,000 a month in child support, and instead of him having to pay 100% of the kids' private school tuition and health costs, the Yellowstone star, the movie star Kevin Costner, only has to pay $129,000 a month, and only has to pay 50% of the tuition and only 50% of health costs. I think he's getting off good, dude.
He is.
I think that's one right there where he should look at that and go, instead of fighting it, that's what we should do. He has 3 teenage kids between the ages of 13 and 16, and he's also giving her a little bit more money for a house.
Yeah,
a little bit more money for a house. And she was complaining that she wanted more money for like cosmetic stuff, but it's LA. It's LA. They've been together for 2 decades. It's not like this was a gold digger who left him after 1 year. That's the thing. I mean, they were together for 2 decades. You got to take care of your kids. How old are the kids? I believe off the top of my head, they're 13, 14, and 16. And people are asking, how old is Kevin Costner? Kevin Costner, by the way, he is arguably the greatest actor when it comes to sports movies. You had Bull Durham. You had Field of Dreams, Tin Cup. And there's another baseball movie that I'm sure I'm missing along the way. Kevin Costner is 68 years old, which means that he started having kids with his wife, who, by the way, is still in her 40s, by the way. Was having kids with her when he was in his 50s, and she had to have been
probably
early 30s,
yeah.
32 years old or so. Kevin Costner, one of my favorite actors of all time, The Untouchables, one of my favorite movies of all time. But
No Waterworld?
I've never seen it. I know that was a big bust.
Man.
That was a big flop back in the day.
You need to watch it.
But Yellowstone, I love. And he's being a complete jackass as they're trying to wrap up the series. And I swear to you, I would not forgive Kevin Costner if they do not have an ending to that show. Imagine having this award-winning show that has so much going on and such huge popularity, and it's an icon in pop culture history right now. It's iconic. And for the show to not have a resolution or an ending because the star wants to get off. And I think the problem is that his character, John Dutton, isn't the star of the show. Like, it's Kevin Costner, and it should be Kevin Costner and the rest of the cast.
Yeah.
And he's part of an ensemble. He's a big part of the show. But if you watch Yellowstone, you know that Kevin Costner's character is one of 5 or 6 big cast members on the show, because people talk about Beth, and they talk about Rip, and they talk about Jamie, and they talk about all these other people on the show. And Kevin Costner kind of just gets lost in it all. He's a big part of the show, don't get me wrong, but he's not the show. And he's wanting to do a mini series about the Civil War, as though we don't already have those.
Yeah.
As though we don't already have.
I think we just had one too that just came out, I believe, on TV or one of the streaming services as well. Oh no, it was going to be Joaquin Phoenix. This is the trailer I saw for the new movie he's making. Was it Napoleon or something?
Oh
like
yeah.
That's
Yeah, I'd go with that a little bit.
Yeah,
I'd go with that a little bit. But again, I hope that Yellowstone eventually comes to an end and does something. There are talks right now that Matthew McConaughey may have a spin-off show based on Yellowstone. Maybe they just kill off the John Dutton character and just move on. That would be good. Chris Lehow reaches out and says, Yellowstone is a damn great show. Dude kills it in that role. Kevin Costner, I mean, the first episode, the first scene where the horse trailer gets into an accident and he shoots and kills a horse to put it out of its misery. I was like, man, where's this show going? That's not Field of Dreams Kevin Costner. That's not Elliot Ness Untouchables Kevin Costner. This is a dark type of thing. And basically, it's The Godfather set in Wyoming or wherever it is, Wyoming, Montana, wherever it is. He does such a good job when it comes to it. Other news.
Oh, man.
Other news. And this one, if you've already had lunch, you may want to look away because this might make you nauseous a little bit. Let's take a look at what a Burger King in Thailand is selling right now. They're calling this a real cheeseburger. It is 2 buns and 20 slices of cheese. No lettuce, no tomato, no meat. It is 20 slices of cheese. So if you figure a slice of, what do you think they're using there? Do you think they're using like Kraft?
I don't even know if that's real cheese, man. It could be like some knockoff cheese that's all waxy and nasty, you know, like it could just, you could leave it out for a day or so and it'd be fine. Like nothing would happen to it.
So I'm looking at this and this is disgusting.
It is, man.
A Kraft single has 45 calories. A regular slice of cheese that you get at H-E-B has about 90 to 110. So let's go ahead on the low end. Say that it's 45 calories. You multiply that by 20. That is 900 calories of American cheese is essentially what it is. If it is a different type of cheese, this might be 1,500 to 1,800 calories, not including the bun, which is probably 200 in itself. Okay.
You pair that with, let's say, a soft drink, man. What are we looking at? You know, diabetes?
Well, I don't know what it is. Something. It's more of a heart attack than anything else.
Yeah.
TMZ says that they're calling this the real cheeseburger and jokes that this is a dietitian's nightmare. Disgusting. And how much do you think this costs?
It says right here that it's going for a 109 Thai baht, which is roughly a little over $3 US.
$3.
Yeah, man.
$3. That's disgusting. That is disgusting. But would I try it? No. And they have those people who sell burgers that have the bun being like, you know, donuts.
Yeah.
Dude, no,
that's nasty, man.
Festival food. You know, if you were to go to like the San Antonio Rodeo, Stock Show Rodeo, I love going to the rodeo. I hate Fiesta. I cannot stand Fiesta. I'll do one event and that is it. Okay.
The taste of the North Side.
I've never been, but I don't have $300 because I'm not money bags.
Jeff would
go. You know what? Jeff wouldn't go because I will give this to Jeff. Money bags himself. He likes the South Side. He's from the South Side.
Oh.
He kind of like Matty Sky. They don't venture beyond 410 very often.
Let me put it to you like this, man. When Jeff made a little bit of money, you know, he kind of moved away. And he's like that dad or that one uncle from Friday. When I got my money, I was gone. Jeff would go to the Taste of the North Side, especially if they're going to have a delectable steak there for him.
Yeah, I don't think he would do it.
Red wine.
I don't think he would do it. As much as I love giving him crap for being money bags, I don't think he would do it. I don't think he would because I live in West Bexar County. Yeah. I live off Petranco, kind of between like in the Tally area, going out towards 211.
We're on the outskirts of Alamo Ranch, man. We're not even near where it starts.
I'm not even in San Antonio.
Yeah.
You're in San Antonio. Yeah. I'm in the county.
Yeah.
Right. So if a fire breaks out, you have SAFD over here. I have Bexar County number 2. Okay.
The volunteer fire department.
Yes, and they come out with 5 gallons of water. No, actually, they do a very good job. I'm just joking. They do a very good job. But I don't think Jeff would venture out that far for food. I don't think he does. I think Jeff is all about the South Side, all about Southtown, all about that. I think he'll stay in that area. But man, that whole burger from Thailand, the ultimate cheeseburger, or the real cheeseburger as they're calling it, absolutely disgusting. Now,
dude, I can't, man. Alfonso Alvarado, this is the best comment of the day. Jeff eats his Snickers with the knife and fork like in Seinfeld.
Dude, that's one of the best episodes of Seinfeld, and that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. That's what George Costanza is cutting up a donut, cutting up a Snickers and all that stuff. And he's like very sophisticated, and it starts a trend. What a great episode that is. Speaking of gross desserts, my wife freaked out yesterday because I was telling her, I was like, babe, that yogurt you got in the fridge is delicious. I got to go buy you some more.
Oh.
She's like, what are you talking about? I was like, yeah, I got the bag of granola, and I put a bowl together of yogurt, and I've just been eating it all day. And she goes, how many did you have? I said, I had 4 cups. She goes, you had 4 cups of yogurt? Now, they're not the full cups. They're like probably half a cup each,
Yeah.
but it's a little pouchy things, right? So I had 4 of them, 2 of them I had as strawberry, 2 of them I had as blueberry. And I looked at them. They're like 45 calories each. And then I'm looking at the granola, a great little snack, right? And she goes, Michael, those are yogurts to make me poop. Like, those are actually designed to make you take a dump. And I'm like, they're delicious.
I'll have another.
And she's like, have you been crapping like crazy today? I'm like, I don't know. I crap all the time. There's some people who like, it's like, oh, I went to the bathroom once every 2 or 3 days. I've never had that issue. I've never had. So I'm telling her, like, babe, I have no difference right there, baby. It just, I have no issues when it comes to being regular when it comes to, I don't know how to describe it. But she was like, dude, you are eating medicine, essentially yogurt medicine, probiotic, this, that, and the other to make you go potty.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all I tasted was blueberry and strawberry and granola.
Granola, yeah.
So wrapping things up today, the show typically goes to about 1:15. And you and I, Joe, have talked about doing a 2-hour show. And part of it was, is it viable for us financially to do so? I want to thank the people, by the way, who reached out to us yesterday, who did the buy us a beer, by the way.
Oh, yeah, man. We got to go ahead and put that up
again. Let's put that up right now, because believe it or not, and I got to get the names because I was just looking at it yesterday.
I believe Christopher Leha was one of them.
Yeah, if you can take a look at that. So what buymeacoffee.com/the acquired taste, if you take a look at that QR code, it's basically a tip. We do not have a subscription fee on YouTube or on Twitter or on Facebook. Although people have been asking if we're going to have some exclusive content, haven't really decided about that yet. But we've been blessed this month when it comes to our sponsorships. And the blessing is, we have JPAR Real Estate with Cynthia J. Sanchez, who's our realtor. We have that new bar that is out there in Helotes that we've been working with.
Serenity Manor.
Serenity Manor, the bar at Serenity Manor, which is an old-time Helotes. And then we also have picked up MCS General Contracting. So we have 4 main sponsors. We'll probably have our 5th one by the end of the day, probably have our 6th one by tomorrow. And it's making it viable. So that whole thing about that QR code is simply if you want to leave a tip. If you just simply want to buy us a beer and say, hey, man, thanks for what you do. It's voluntary. You don't have to. But do you know the people who left that?
I do. So we had Chris M., who went ahead and bought us some beers.
Nice.
Andrew Kavi, who brought us a beer, Stu. Thank you so much. And MCS_GC, which is now one of our sponsors, brought us some beer.
MCS General Contracting. Again, they have 30 plus years of concrete placement experience, house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. Again, if you have a business, they can do parking lot, foundations, other concrete placement services. Again, thank you, JPAR Real Estate. If you're looking to buy a home, reach out to Cynthia J. Sanchez. Reach out to me, and I'll get you in touch with her. Again, tomorrow, the bar at Serenity Manor in Helotes is going to have its first karaoke night. I will be out there. If you want to come by and say hi, I'll show up around 7 o'clock. So I'll be there from like around 7 to 8:30 or so, 7 to 9. I'll go ahead and get my drink on for a little while. They serve beer, they serve wine, and they serve margaritas. 14405 Old Bandera Road, Helotes, Texas. We're going to put up new photos next week about this so you can see more about what they do. But again, that's weddings, that's quinceañeras. They do family reunions, lots of things over there. They can do 200 people indoors. If you want a dance floor, 150 people indoors. It's a historic building, over 100 years old, built in 1913. It's a great little venue that they've got going on. I shouldn't say little. It's actually a pretty decent sized venue. They also have an outdoor venue as well over there.
Nice.
But the bar, it's a small bar. But the karaoke is going to be in the venue portion of it all, and you can kind of go back and forth between the two. It's catty corner to Floor's country store, which has all those country shows that go on over there. But now that we've picked up sponsors 4, now 5 and 6 coming on board, we have to talk about whether or not we're going to the second hour sooner than August 7th. We are growing pretty fast, and it's because of all the people who have reached out to us, all the people who have supported this podcast and realized the goal of filling in the gaps between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. And the goal is to make this a network. And by adding that second hour, adding the fantasy gods, adding UTSA coverage, adding some NFL coverage, Dallas Cowboys talk and things like that, this is all coming about. So what I want to do this weekend, Saturday night, get together, probably, a karaoke type of thing. I'm thinking about who's who on the Babcock and Callahan. If you want to just kind of hang out with us, that's cool. If you want to be part of the network and want to pitch an idea, that's cool too. Let's all hang out and celebrate the fact that we're exceeding our own expectations, which were lofty to begin with. And that's the thing. I'm so happy with how this has all happened. And Joe and I work seamlessly together. We have never worked before together before in the past. And we read each other's minds as though we've worked together for 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, you know where I'm going, and I know where you're going 99.99% of the time. But 4 sponsors in, 5 and 6 coming on board. Dude, we got to talk about making this happen maybe in the next week or two.
Yeah.
Expanding that second hour.
Yeah. It's going to be nice to expand the second hour and add some new, some new things here and there to the show, to give it that better aesthetic and, be more interactive with the fan base.
I kind of feel like crying in a good way. Subscribe again to Locked On Spurs. Thank you to Jeff Garcia for being on today and for being a good sport, because I know Moneybags with the Z. Got to get it right. It's with the Z. I know that's going to go away in about a week or two. He's going to have to stick it out, because I've been the punching bag on social media for so very long. He'll be the punching bag for another week or so. It'll go away, Jeff. It will. It'll come back when you come back to San Antonio, but it'll go away. Tonight, correct me if I'm wrong, we have USA against Panama.
Yeah, I believe we do.
USA and Panama. I want to say it's 6 o'clock today. That is a big thing, because it's the Gold Cup semifinals, and it's a big deal because tomorrow we're going to have Katie Goodman, soccer analyst for San Antonio Sports, for San Antonio FC, for the Houston Dash, also for just soccer in general. She will be on tomorrow. Again, today is the semifinal, USA and Panama at 6:30. We're also going to have Casey Vieira from Ken's 5 Sports tomorrow. Friday, Mariana Wegner, who's a dating expert, will be on with us on Friday. And then also we got word that next week we should have Rhonda DiMartino, the poker studette, if you will, should be on with us next week. So this is great. Before we go, any good comments there that you want to address?
Let's see. Tonight is a Chappelle stand-up in San Antonio.
Dave Chappelle, one of the GOATs. One of the Mount Rushmores of stand-up comedy in San Antonio.
Yeah, Christopher Leha saying that it's what we do over at MCS, man. We support our local folks.
Man, Chris Leha, you're the man, dude. I really do appreciate that. And this is a homegrown thing. And, 520 subscribers sounds like, okay, that's off to a good start. But the goal is to get to 1,000 by the start of the NFL season. The goal is to get beyond San Antonio Sports Star by the end of the year. And that's going to be if you guys spread the word and you guys spread the links and tell people, hey, that guy, Mike Jimenez, the guy that pissed you off on social media, that pissed you off on the shows back in the day, he's on air again. He's creating his own network. We have a lot going on. We have a lot of interest going on with this. 520 subscribers and growing. We were at 499 48 hours ago.
Yeah. Think about when we first started. We had no followers, and then the next day we had a couple, and then it just got bigger and bigger, and look at where we're at now.
And we are about 50% of the way of you doing this full time.
Yeah, just about. Yeah,
making this a thing, But
wouldn't that be something?
It would be. And essentially, I'm kind of acting as a program director. You are a technical guy, and you are all of that, and it's all coming together.
Yeah,
it really is. But thank you so much to our sponsors. We MCS and Cynthia J. Sanchez at JPAR, and talking about Serenity Manor and the bar at Serenity Manor. Thank you so much. And to the other companies who I'm already deep in conversations with, absolutely amazing. Everyone have a great day today. Again, 6:30 p.m. CONCACAF Gold Cup between USA and Panama. Go red, white, and
6:30.
blue. Go red, white, and blue. Katie Goodman tomorrow. Casey Vieira tomorrow. Everyone have a great day. My name is Mike Jimenez. It's Joe Garcia. See you guys tomorrow.
Peace.